I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Minnesota's Somali community is on edge after President Trump ended deportation protections, terminating temporary protected status effective immediately. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem spoke to the press about the move.
There is a timeline as set under statute that every single country's TPS program gets evaluated on.
While most Somali refugees are U.S. citizens, TPS holders fear being sent back to a country plagued by al-Shabaab violence. President Trump is calling for federal intervention in Chicago after two shootings Friday night left a 14-year-old dead and 8 teens injured near downtown Christmas events. Trump called the city a mess and said crime needs federal action. And Erykah Badu is set to live stream her Mama's Gun 25th anniversary show from the King's Theater in New York on December 6th. The concert streams via Veeps at 9 p.m. Eastern, and access is free for subscribers. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
And how are you? Welcome to the reality check. I'm Eddie Francis. In for the G-Man, Gerod Stevens. Going to be hanging out with you for the next couple of days. It's always good to be with you. Always good to hang out at WBOK. At Xavier University of Louisiana, next to the overpass, where people do not like it when you have to get out of your car. I mean, you talk about taking your life into your own hands. I think that's Dixon Street that runs alongside the overpass and runs into the Norman C. Francis. I almost gave the street my dad's name, Nelson Francis, but no, it's Norman C. Francis. So this is this narrow street. It comes off I-10, off the Howard Avenue exit, and you try to get out of your car, and people don't like it. They don't like it. They just keep driving. They see you try to get out of your car, and they make sure that they try to take a piece of your leg off. They make sure. And then they get mad at you because you got to do something like cross the street. Even when they're going like 50 miles an hour. But this is a me problem. Anyway, so it is good to have you for the reality check. And we have a few things that we are going to talk about this evening. I hope you had a good weekend. I want to get to how I was able to preserve my calm over the weekend, because that was very important to me. That is something that is so important to me. By the way, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that we are streaming live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And, of course, the Play Ode app. And you can also catch us streaming live, WBOK1230.com. But ICE in New Orleans, talk a little bit about that later on in the show. Also, Essence Fest 26. They want to adjust some things. They want to make some adjustments. And so we're going to see how that goes. And probably someone who is displaying the pinnacle of texting professionally. We're going to talk about him in a little while too. So I got to tell you about what I did over the weekend to really, really allow my spirit to rest, to allow myself to remain calm. I am very proud of myself. I did not watch the Saints game. That's how I was able to do it. Very simple fix. Very simple. Didn't watch the Pels either. Now, look, I'm not about to start bashing the Saints and the Pels, but I have to tell you, so first of all, I mean, I was doing a lot of work over the weekend. One of my hustles is I'm an adjunct instructor for Southern New Hampshire University. And so I was grading assignments over the weekend. The course I'm teaching, they have a project due. So I'm grading all these project drafts and all this stuff. So I'm thinking, you know what, let me just stay locked into this. Because these project drafts are really important. I have to give some really good feedback to the students. Let me make sure I stay locked in. And if that means I'm going to miss some football, then that's fine. I'm fine with missing football, fine with missing some basketball. It's fine. I just won't watch a whole lot of TV. Cool, no problem. So it is a much different experience watching the game, but then watching the social media reaction to the game without watching the game. You talk about people who are going through it. Y'all are going through it. Okay, there's no y'all. We are going through it. And I mean, the tone of people watching the Saints game and being on Threads and Facebook and all the other platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and all, the tone, though, where you really get a feel for the tone, are actually on Facebook and Threads. That's where you really get a feel for the tone, because it's people just really quickly typing out their impressions about something, and so that's how that goes. And I have to tell you, the amount of despair among Saints fans right now, and I don't blame us. It's a bad time. Please respect our privacy, okay, at this time. But it is a bad time. And then you start thinking to yourself, you know what? I am going to sink my energy into the New Orleans Pelicans. It's a bad time. Please respect our privacy. Please. Okay? That's all we need you to do. Be respectful. But at least with the Pels, you have some glimmer of hope. Something. I mean, like Derek Queen. My goodness. Where did this young man come from? Maryland. I mean, but it is, you have those signs of encouragement when you watch the Pelicans. But let's try to put a couple of things into perspective. And no, I'm not trying to steal any sports show thunder here, but this is what we're talking about on a Monday, right? I mean, it's no victory Monday by any stretch of the imagination for our professional teams. But let's just put it in perspective. First of all, to quote those Afro-American philosophers, New Edition, is this the end? And it's not. It's not. For the Saints, here's what I'll say. Let's look beyond football and let's look at the organization. They're going through a shift, and I know that there are a lot of us who would like to see a major shift. And I'm not going to mention Mickey Loomis's name, but I know that there are people who would like to see a major shift with the Saints right now. But you do have a new coach. You have a lot of talent, a lot of shifts in talent and all that stuff. And seriously, from a pure organizational perspective, and, part of the research that I did when I was getting my master's degree is in organizational dynamics and culture. And part of what happens is that when you have new leadership, you're going to have some shifts, but things might not go well for a minute because people are having to really get used to one another and all that good stuff. As a matter of fact, I don't know if this is going to make you feel any better at all. It probably will not, but I'm going to do my level best to try to make you feel better, fellow Saints fan. You remember all those Super Bowls that Dallas won in the 90s? It did start with Jimmy Johnson having a 1-15 season. It did. And so if that gives you any glimmer of hope, which it does for me, it gives me something. It gives me something to hold on to. I need this. I got to have this. But 1989, Jimmy Johnson went 1-15. 1990, he went 7-9. 1991, 11-5, and they lost to the Lions in the NFC divisional game. And then 92 and 93, Super Bowl time. Now, Kellen Moore's situation is a bit different. He is not a seasoned coach. Jimmy Johnson came to the NFL a seasoned head coach. He had done all the cool stuff at University of Miami. Kellen Moore, he's young, not the same kind of experience. First time being a head coach on any level, I get it. So, but let's at least look at the fact that there is a major change, and hey, maybe that means something. Again, I'm just saying, I'm trying to make us feel better. Okay, now let's look at the Pelicans. Same thing though. You have an organizational shift, and but this is what I like to say about the Pels, man. Especially NBA basketball. When it comes to NBA basketball, it's an 82 game season. I know it looks bad right now. Pels are 2-15. They have 65 games left. A lot of things could happen. As a matter of fact, they're playing the Bulls tonight at 7 p.m. All right, so what about the good news? I want to give you some good news. The good news is this. We have some good college football happening. And that would be the Southeastern Louisiana University Lions, the Tulane Green Wave, Southeastern 9-3. They're actually playing a playoff game this Saturday at home against Illinois State. They're going to kick off at noon. And then Tulane, ranked 9-2. They're number 22 in the AP poll, and they're going to be hosting Charlotte Sunday at 6:30. And, by the way, there's that other game, the Bayou Classic, happening Saturday at 1. I'm sorry, Tulane Saturday at 6:30. I don't know if I said Sunday or Saturday. But Bayou Classic and, Southern. Sorry, Jaguar fan. I know, fam. Jaguar fam, I know y'all aren't happy right now. I know you're not. And then Grambling, not that much better off. But anyway, Bayou Classic, Saturday, 1 p.m. There you go. There you have it. Okay? Speaking of the Bayou Classic, though, on a serious note, speaking of the Bayou Classic, so here's what we got going on this weekend, something to look out for from NOLA.com. The National Guard, they are going to be launching their French Quarter security zone for Bayou Classic along with local law enforcement. This was actually released earlier today. The Louisiana National Guard, the article says, will be activated in New Orleans this weekend in an effort to increase public safety as visitors are going to be coming in town for the Bayou Classic. So they're going to have the enhanced security zone Friday through Sunday. That includes checkpoints, bag searches, and a ban on coolers. Now, the article says that the same thing was done for Mardi Gras and Super Bowl earlier this year. And so that is what we can expect. The zone will extend from Canal Street to St. Anne, between Royal and Dauphine as well. And so as you go downtown and you enjoy festivities this weekend, just know that you are going to have those checkpoints around. You're going to have National Guard around. You're going to have more local law enforcement around. And there is, let me see. So there's a spokesman who said that the Bayou Classic activation is event-based support, which is routine. So we are also hoping for something else as far as the Bayou Classic is concerned. We are also hoping that our local people, act right. I'm not talking about you and me. I'm talking about people like hotels. Please, y'all, please don't go crazy on the prices on folk. All right, that's just my one ask of you. That's all I got of you. That's all I got. That's all I got. And by the way, we have folks who are checking in on Facebook right now. Jacqueline, good afternoon to you. Cliff, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining me. And, of course, like I said, we are streaming live on Facebook. We're also streaming live on YouTube. Let's see what we got going here on YouTube. Anybody checking in there? You can check in with me. That would be really cool. I would enjoy that. And then we are also streaming live on Twitch. If you have anything on your mind, of course, as always, I know G takes calls. So, yeah, let's talk. If you got something that's on your mind, 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. That's your phone number. That's how you can call. You can also leave the comments on Facebook. You can also leave the comments on YouTube. You can leave comments also on Twitch if you are there as well. I got to tell you about a really interesting conversation that we are going to be having this weekend on my show. I have a show every Saturday at 3 p.m. called The Way Forward, and I'm going to tell you about that in a little bit. But in the meantime, we've got somebody on the line. WB. Hey, what's going on?
What's up, Brother Roll? How you doing, man?
I'm all right. Oh, this is Brother Eddie.
Oh, Eddie, my bad.
That's okay.
Hey, it's all good. Y'all both like brothers, you know what I mean? So look, check this out. So I haven't been to the dome since the pandemic.
Okay.
I was a season ticket holder for over 20 years, and during the pandemic, I didn't pay, the season tickets because we weren't guaranteed 8 games or 10 games, whatever it may be, and I didn't want to jeopardize my money and let them know what games I could see and balance my money out at the end of the day. So long story short, I didn't pay. So when the pandemic was sort of, I don't want to say over, but when we got past all of that, I went to buy season tickets. Well, at least to renew my season tickets, and they told me that they wouldn't renew my season tickets, and I didn't know if it was because I didn't pay, during the pandemic, but I went to the dome. I hadn't been there in 5 years, and what I noticed was that the section where I sat is where one of the renovations took place. So I wasn't too mad about that, right? But they did tell me to get in the back of the line after, when they didn't renew the tickets, and I was kind of disturbed about that, right? So anyway, my wife begs me. She's like, "Man, we need to go to the game. We should go. So I buy some seats from StubHub, and hadn't been. The dome looked really nice on the inside, but man, after Groupie missed that first field goal, I was ready to leave. I was ready to get in my car, go on LI Highway, clean out his locker.
Yeah, well, you weren't the only one.
Oh, I was ready. So anyway, bro, I just wanted, I was just thinking about that. I had a good time. The dome was pretty packed. I think, the fans were really in it because there was enough people to make it a decent game. We just didn't have nothing to really cheer for.
Yeah. You know what? I've never been a season ticket holder, so I got to ask you this. As someone who has been a season ticket holder, when the team has a not-so-great season, what are you thinking about that next season? You're like, well, I'm going to be back there anyway. Are you thinking about your options? Are you exercising your options? What do you think?
Not really, because, the season tickets was a thing that me and my wife did as a date. Something we did as a couple.
Oh,
so it didn't kind of really matter win, lose, or draw, right?
Okay.
But I definitely was in it for at least win your home games. Now, you don't win every home game, but, you got 8 home games. I expect to win at least 6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I never really looked at it from the aspect of losing season. It was more or less just a thing that me and my wife did, as a couple.
I hear you.
And so she was crying. She might even be listening to me now. She was crying, saying, "Oh, but you didn't get the tickets. We don't have no more tickets." So I went and bought the tickets, like I said. And now she owed me a steak dinner because that wasn't working.
Well, listen, you enjoy that steak dinner, my brother.
All right, bro.
All right, WB.
Thank you,
man. Appreciate you. Yeah, that has got to be a gut punch, especially if you were expecting something. And I don't know, this season, did people really know what to expect? I didn't know what to expect. No earthly idea. A first-time head coach, talent is shifting on the field. You got stuff happening in the front office, and then you don't have, well, for a lot of us, not a whole lot of faith in a certain somebody in the front office whose name I won't mention, Mickey Loomis. I mean, but you have these people who folks are just really unsettled by. And so if you're a season ticket holder, what could possibly be going through your head? That's the thing I've always wondered as someone who has never had season tickets for the Pels or the Saints or when they were the Hornets. I mean, I had never had season tickets, and I got to wonder. Now, I do have one thing I have to say. I'm gonna do one more sports take here, and I'm gonna continue it after the break. But I'm going to say this before we go into the break here. The NBA is a diva league, and that could be a problem for New Orleans. We're going to talk about it. All right. It is the reality check. I'm Eddie Francis in for Gerod Stevens, the G-Man, WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about.
Trying to grow your business or increase traffic to your location? We can help. WBOK 1230 AM has a number of solutions that will meet your individual needs. Give one of our consultants a call today at 504-582-9420 or email us at info@wbok1230.com. And remember, an investment with WBOK is an investment in our community. Call today.
Hi, this is Arnie Filko. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events to sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join Carrie and I every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Carrie Show. See you soon.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree, start a new one, on your time, your degree, your schedule, no excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu and make your next move today.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton. Losing a loved one is tough enough. Do you really want your family dealing with court battles and paperwork on top of it?
Whether you choose a will or a trust, think ahead. Take care of your family. Let them focus on healing instead of headaches. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
And welcome back to the reality check. I'm Eddie Francis in for the G-Man, Gerod Stevens. If you're on Facebook, I just went ahead and put into the chat this article about the National Guard and the security zone for the Bayou Classic, so you can check that out. And also make sure you listen to the WBOK programming on Apple Podcasts. We got some podcasting happen there, huh, Naren? Yeah, all right. So make sure you go, like, share, all that good stuff. Yeah, comment, tell people how much you love them. All right, especially Kimber and Graylin. You gotta tell them how much you love them. Tell Kimber a lot. Tell her that a lot. Tell her I said so. Okay. Okay. So the and before I get back into this, we just heard the commercial for Suno. Shouts out to our good friend at Suno, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. Good news for Suno, by the way. I'm looking at an article on the Southern University System website. Actually, good news for the entire system. Enrollment increases on all of their campuses. So Suno is experiencing an enrollment increase of 15.9%. 15.9%. Right now, they're sitting at 2,459 students. Southern University Shreveport, they have experienced, or they will be experiencing, an enrollment increase of 6.1%. Oh, I'm sorry, this is all for fall 2025. So we already have the enrollment increases. So Suno has had an increase of 15.9%. And SUSLA, Southern University Shreveport, they have already had their enrollment increase of 6.1%. And Southern, the campus in Baton Rouge, the Jaguars, their enrollment increase this fall, 17.5%. These are important numbers, by the way. Very, very important numbers. But I had the opportunity, I have to give a shout out to Dr. Ashanta Wyatt, because I had the opportunity last week to visit Suno's campus. There was a tour group in town, and I got the opportunity to take the tour group a little bit through Suno, and I have to tell you, Suno's, their student ambassadors, their tour guides were on top of it. Gave the students a great tour. These were students from Arkansas. Gave them a great tour, and the students loved it. They got an opportunity to go visit the forensics lab at Suno. So Suno is the only university in the state to offer a bachelor's degree in forensic science. They got an opportunity to go check out the forensics labs, and they got to do a little fingerprint experiment. It was really cool to watch. And they got an opportunity also to see the residence halls at Suno, which I have to say, the residence halls at Suno, to me, have always been really underrated because of the location. Because you can go, you get this really cool view. If you happen to be on the third floor of the residence halls of Suno and you're facing the lake, you get a view of the lake. A lot of people don't realize this. And if you live there, and if you have the energy, you can go right over the levee to the lake. I don't know how many people have that kind of energy. But, yeah, it's actually pretty cool. But congratulations to the Southern University system. Congratulations to Dr. Shanta Wyatt at Suno, who is working very, very hard. Now, let's talk about the Diva League, okay? You know, the NBA to me is such a Diva League. And the reason I say this is every single time, the littlest thing happens with the Pelicans. All right, they're sitting at 2-15 right now. They're not the only team having a bad season. But these jokers come all out of the blue with the whole "it's time to move the Pelicans out of New Orleans" thing. New Orleans isn't a basketball city, which I say that's a yes and no thing for me. No, we're not a legacy NBA city. But we like some round ball down here. We like it. We love it. And we've had some nice talent come out of New Orleans, right? But this is deeper than sports. This is deeper than basketball. Okay? While it is framed as a sports take, it's not necessarily a sports take. This talk that starts whenever the Pelicans have setbacks, and then these folks get on TV and say, "Oh, it's time to move the city." Boogie Cousins is the latest. Now, Boogie, I just, I like Boogie, but I write him off because he's bitter. He's bitter about how his career ended with the Pelicans. And honestly, I don't blame him. It sounded like there was some funky stuff happening when he was here. However, when all the other folks say this, it's interesting to me that the tone of this thing that people do when they say, "Well, it's time to move the Pelicans out of New Orleans." Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but let me tell you what I'm hearing as a native of New Orleans. New Orleans isn't good enough. That's what I'm hearing. You're not good enough, New Orleans. You're not sexy enough for the NBA. You got to be sexy. You have to be Los Angeles. You have to be New York. You have to be a big market. You have to be Chicago. You have to be Houston. You have to be Dallas. If you're going to be a real NBA city, you have to be big. And so when it comes to the smaller market teams, yeah, you'll hear people say something maybe about Milwaukee, maybe. But let the Pelicans have one night when the fans are not there the way people think they should be there. The Pelicans statistically still have some of the best attendance in the NBA. But listening to these characters, you would never think that. You would think that 5 people are sitting at every game. You would think it was the last days of the New Orleans Jazz. I actually went to one of those last games, by the way. It was pretty desolate in the Superdome. Anyway, you would think that's what was going on. But I do think that when people start this opinion that it's time to move the Pelicans out of New Orleans, I don't think it has as much to do with basketball as it has to do with people's attitude about the city of New Orleans. And I honestly do get personally offended by it. And I honestly believe that the undertone of that commentary is New Orleans, you just aren't good enough. That's not true. We are plenty good. We're a fantastic city. And by the way, I don't know if any of these sports experts know this. It really helps when your teams win. Now, when the Pelicans were having a season, when we had Boogie, and we had Anthony Davis, and we had Drew Holiday. I mean, when the Pelicans were working on all cylinders, yes, the Smoothie King Center was packed out. It should have been. When the Pelicans are running on all cylinders, things look great in the Smoothie Center. And I have some news for you. When things are looking great for a lot of other teams, things look great. Now, when you have teams like the Lakers and the Knicks and the Bulls and the Rockets and the Mavericks, and the Mavericks, once upon a time, the Mavericks weren't exactly selling out either, by the way. But when you have all the legacy teams, the Warriors weren't always the Warriors. Once upon a time, they had problems filling their seats. But the legacy teams like the Knicks and the Lakers and all these other teams, yes, those teams have established reputations. They have established traditions and legacies. The Celtics, the Bulls, they have established traditions and legacies. And also, these were teams who once upon a time weren't always what they are now. The Lakers were struggling once upon a time. People forget this. Once upon a time, the Lakers did not make it in L.A. They had already left Minnesota or Minneapolis. They went to L.A. and they almost didn't make it in L.A. So when I hear people say this stuff, when I hear the Diva League comments, and that's what I call the NBA, a Diva League. And I do enjoy NBA basketball, by the way. I do enjoy it. Except when they let the superstars get away with walking, like taking 5 steps to the basket. That's when I don't enjoy it. And when LeBron starts crying. Because LeBron can cry. Sorry, LeBron fans, but he can. When they get away with that kind of stuff and they let them get away, that's when I'm not on board. But for the most part, yeah, I love the NBA. I really do. It's the fans, it's the prognosticators, it's the talking heads. Those are the ones who get on my nerves. Those are the ones who, when they start the whole, it's time to move the Pelicans, they lost 3 games in a row. Man, shut up. We're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. Amika, thank you so much for checking in on Facebook. You are absolutely correct about the NBA, Amika says. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Martin, thank you so much for checking in. Good afternoon to you as well. Anita, thank you for checking in. Anita Harris. Karen Marks, thank you for checking in also on Facebook. And you can also listen to the live stream. Tell your friend to check it out on YouTube, where you see my glowing head. And then also on Twitch. My head isn't glowing as much on Twitch. Pretty good glow on Facebook. Yep. There we go. Thank you so much. And then also WBOK1230.com and the Play Old app. We're streaming there as well. So every Saturday, I have the privilege of doing this show called The Way Forward. I love doing this show because what I try to do is I try to have guests come on who help us understand an issue and figure out what we can do to act on it. And I'll also do commentaries for the show where I try to get us into some forward thinking about what we can do with certain issues. It could be politics. It could be everyday lifestyle stuff. It could be whatever. I had the privilege of interviewing 12 of our college and university presidents from the Southeastern region. Really grateful to have those presidents come on and talk about their campuses and talk about what us everyday citizens can do to support their campuses and how we can take advantage of their resources as well. You know, all these college campuses have free stuff that a lot of people just have no idea about. The other thing to think about when it comes to a college campus, before I forget this thought, the other thing is sometimes if you need facilities to rent, like if you need a place to meet, if you need a place to do an event, a banquet or something like that, don't forget about a college campus where you could probably get it done a bit cheaper. SUNO has great facilities, by the way. You can probably get it done there a lot cheaper. not too long ago, I really, really needed a sound room, and I was able to rent a sound room at Dillard. And so these institutions have these resources. So the way forward is a show where I try to bring forth that kind of information to people so we can know what we got, right? And also so we can understand what to do. I talk a lot about higher education because I've worked in higher education. And I truly, truly believe in the power of colleges and universities and how they are able to help our communities. And there is a conversation that I had on Saturday's show, and we're going to run it back for next Saturday. I had a conversation with a philanthropy expert by the name of Kimberly O'Neill. And Kimberly and I are friends, and one day I was having this conversation with her, and we just started shooting the stuff about these enormous donations that Mackenzie Scott has been doing to HBCUs. And as we were talking, she's telling me her thoughts about what she thinks Mackenzie Scott is thinking about why she's making these donations. Kimberly, my girl, you got to come on the way forward and talk about this. So the last show we did, we had that conversation. That show, we're doing an encore episode on Saturday where Kimberly O'Neill is philanthropy expert and also somebody who once upon a time was responsible for awarding funding to nonprofit organizations in Plano, Texas. She did this through the city of Plano. And she's also in a doctoral program in philanthropic studies at Indiana University, the Lilly Family School of Philanthropy. So she knows her stuff. And she's been on the advising side of this, where she has actually said, you should award this amount of money to this group of people because. So Kimberly knows her stuff. She's a sister. She's in New York. And there was some really good feedback from her about this. And here's what I will say. I'm not going to do the conversation, but here are some points that you really, really need to understand. And I say this especially to my friends at Suno, my friends at Dillard. These gifts truly are random. I was actually at Dillard in 2020 when Mackenzie Scott did a $5 million donation. We had no idea what was coming. So these are random gifts. The university just finds out, boom, you got however many $1 million. But it's not so much a matter of a bunch of people getting on the phone and calling Mackenzie Scott's office and saying, you better give us some money. Now, here's the other part, and this is a big part of the conversation I encourage you to listen to on Saturday, 3 p.m., and that is, if the university is in some sort of trouble, this is not money to save your butts. What Mackenzie Scott is looking for, and this is what I gleaned from my conversation with Kimberly, what Mackenzie Scott is looking for when she makes these donations are areas where she can invest. Not necessarily she's going to get some kind of kickback, but what it is she's investing this money with the trust that the university is going to spend the money wisely and they're going to be able to advance the work that they're doing. So there are a couple of institutions I'm thinking about right now that are not in New Orleans, by the way, not even Louisiana. One in particular where they are really financially having a very hard time. Like they have had a hard time making payroll. They may not get a Mackenzie Scott donation because the thinking is, I'm going to donate this money to you and it's going to be gone just as soon as I donate it. And that's not exactly what a lot of philanthropists, that's not exactly how they process this. It turns into, Xavier, you're trending upward. Suno, you're trending upward. Dillard, you're trending upward. Here's an investment in you trending even further upward. So again, you get an opportunity Saturday, 3 p.m. Please tune in to the Way Forward here on WBOK, WBOK1230.com, the Play Ode app, of course, 12:30 a.m. And you'll be able to get some information there. And by the way, for folks who hear this kind of thing with HBCUs, and they're like, well, I really hope that, this Kimberly woman, did she graduate from an HBCU? Yes, she did. She graduated from North Carolina A&T State University. She is an Aggie. And she will tell you that she is Aggie born, Aggie bred. The sister is serious about being an Aggie. Serious. And so this is an important conversation, I think, with a lot of HBCUs. And yes, Kimberly does, in that interview, she does give guidance for what the everyday folks can do. Like, you don't even have to be necessarily associated with an HBCU. As a Black New Orleanian, what can you do to help hold Suno, Dillard, and Xavier down? She tells you that. And of course, if you're an alumnus of any of those institutions, or if you're an alumnus of two of them, like our very own Kemba, who was an alumnus of Suno and Xavier, and also attended Dillard. I mean, what can you do, right? So, again, make sure you listen to that interview. And again, if you have any folks in your cipher who are associated with HBCUs, this is an important interview so that folks can understand what goes into philanthropists and their thinking. And I think also it's not just for that, right? What about all of the folks around this city who have nonprofit agencies? There's something in that interview. There's a lot in that interview for you, a whole lot. And I will say this as a last word on this particular thing. This is about positioning your nonprofit agency, your HBCU, or your cause as something that is strong and will get stronger. The minute you get to I need, and that I need is I need you to save me, then the conversation is over. But when you are able to say, this is what we do well, and this is how we can do it better with your investment. When you say that, then that's when the difference is made. And that's what I heard. And again, in that conversation with Kimberly O'Neill, that's what I heard. I heard that you have got to figure out how to talk about what you do, what your nonprofit does, what your HBCU does. You got to know how to talk about it from a position of strength. And alumni, I'm not going to be that person who says y'all don't do enough, because I don't believe that. I believe HBCU alumni do as much as you can. I really honestly believe that. But I will say this. There is a commentary I did on the last show where I said that your $5 donation is enough. And I really think that we need to get into that thinking where we don't say all I got is, so I'm not going to donate. I think what we want to say is, this is what I got, and this is part of the movement. And I told this very quick story on the last episode. Halima, my wife, and I had the great opportunity. We were at the gala for the TEP Center last week. And the TEP Center was having their 65th anniversary commemoration of the desegregation of New Orleans public schools. And so Halima and I had this great opportunity to do a guest appearance because we both, TEP Center is near and dear to us. Dr. Leona Tate over there, and then, of course, the E standing for Gail Etienne and the P standing for Tessie Prevost. And so in going to the gala, we were asked to help raise $10,000 that night. So Halima, she ain't new to this. She's true to this. She's done fundraising before. So she kind of wrote out a script for us. I followed her lead. Of course, the script was awesome. And so we did our thing. But there was something that I wanted to make sure people in the room understood. I wanted to make sure that everybody in that room understood that whenever somebody says no amount is too small to give, people really mean that. Because there are so many nonprofits, there's so many organizations, there's so many institutions, there's so many churches where that one small donation does tip the scale. It's like voting. People think that one vote doesn't matter. See Shreveport. The one vote does matter. And so my message to everyone that night was, your $5 donation matters. And what happened is that people took us up on it. They donated $5 and $25. And not only did we achieve the fundraising goal, we exceeded the fundraising goal. So I want you to hear that commentary, and I want you, especially if you're an HBCU alumnus, I want you to be empowered by that. And I want you to know that even the smallest donation you do to your institution matters. All right. We got to talk about texting in a little bit and how to be professional. Okay? I'm Eddie Francis in for the G-Man. It's the reality check on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about.
Late nights are made for chillin', and you can do just that every Sunday night at 10 p.m. as DJ Wick brings you The Love Zone. It's the perfect way to top off your weekend with your favorite old and new school ballads. So sit back, relax, and let DJ Wick take you to the on WBOK and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
Meet Leanna, part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
Looking to join an organization that is committed to help promote economic development in New Orleans East? Look no further. The Greater New Orleans East Business Alliance is a member-based nonprofit organization made up of business owners and local professionals united for the purpose to promote business development in Eastern New Orleans. If you want to become a member, call us at 504-957-3568.
Uptown, downtown. Wherever you are, keep it locked in to WBOK.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
And welcome back to the reality check. I'm Eddie Francis in for the G-Man, Gerod Stevens on WBOK. And so when you send text to people, I really, really hope that you are being as professional as possible, because I have an example for you of what professionalism looks like when it comes to texting. Now, I know what you're thinking to yourself. Oh, Eddie, you're probably about to tell us that we need to learn how to spell stuff right and use our punctuation right. And yes, that would be nice. But no, that's not exactly what I'm talking about. And, in punctuation, that's kind of a moving target. Punctuation is a big moving target for a lot of people. Again, I'm an adjunct college instructor. Let me tell you, punctuation is a moving target for a whole lot of people. I use Grammarly to check my stuff, and there are times Grammarly and I do not disagree about commas a lot of times. We just don't. Grammarly likes commas way too much for me sometimes. And not enough use of the semicolon, by the way. Okay, but that's not what I meant to talk about. So there's this Kelly Myers, whose father, Everton Myers, he does texts that Kelly says are actually overly professional. And so the Today Show, if you go to today.com, you'll see that there are examples of the texts that Mr. Myers, he's not Everton, by the way, he's Mr. Myers, as far as I'm concerned, and you're going to find out why. There are these examples of the texts that Mr. Myers does for the family. And so here's an example of one of those texts. Please note that I will make arrangements to meet you at EWR Airport for your flight arriving at 5:56 p.m. Terminal C, in parentheses. On our way home, we will stop and drop off the package for Grandma. She is anxiously waiting for it. That's one example. Now, that's mild. That's mild. But see, the thing is that Mr. Myers says that he is formal in his language and texting because of his background in sales and marketing. I understand that. So here's another one, and this is a family text, okay? I repaired the furnace igniter wire purchased from Amazon, and it's working well. He used the semicolon. I like Mr. Myers. The new igniter left, in parentheses, replaced with the old burnt out igniter, right, in parentheses. By doing this repair myself, we saved around $400, $500 or more, he wrote. Semicolon, parentheses, and all. This man is my idol. This man is my idol. Okay. Here's another one. So Kelly said the favorite texts are the ones sent in their family group chat, specifically addressed to her brother Jaden. So, okay, here we go. I'm sorry. So here's the text to Jaden. Jaden, where are you? You need to come home and immediately clean your room. We have visitors coming, semicolon. Therefore, comma, your room needs to be presentable. Put it down, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's a daddy there. That's a daddy. See, that's what that is. That's a dad. Mr. Myers is a daddy. And this man is my hero. Let me tell you why. Okay? Because, you see, people act like they're not clear on stuff all the time. And he, you know what his thing is? Mr. Myers says, I want to be clear on things. And I don't want y'all acting like you did not understand what I was asking you. And don't act like you did not understand what I did with the furnace. And don't act like you don't understand how much money we are saving by me fixing the furnace. This is what I'm doing. There was actually one, let me see. There was one text. I did not see it, but there was one text when he was he was actually trying to get people together for dinner. And apparently what he was doing was he was telling everybody what the topic of conversation would be for dinner. Now, I really wish I could find that text. I'm gonna have to look for that. But there was one text that, oh goodness, because my wife and I talked about this earlier today, actually. But there was one. Here it is. Here we go. Here's the text. Naren, pay attention to this when you become a dad. Okay. Mr. Myers, text in the family chat about dinner. I'm preparing family dinner today. Dinner will be around 4 p.m. Please make arrangements accordingly. We will discuss plans and set goals for 2023. See, Naren, the man is being clear with people. That's what this is. That's what this is all about. Because people like to act like they don't understand stuff, right? They really love to do this. And you know, and they're so Kelly, the daughter, said that she was a little annoyed with it. I'm not annoyed with it. That's daddy energy. That's what that is. You'll understand one day, Naren, when you have some kids driving you crazy. And also when you have kids running around you acting like they didn't understand what you just said. You will definitely understand that. You'll overstand then. You might be texting like Mr. Myers. Yeah, probably. Good comments in the Facebook chat, by the way, or the Facebook comments, I should say. D Best, going back to the NBA conversation. D Best, Baragani, my brother. To these people of Bubancha, New Orleans. NBA franchises have won 51 championships out of 75 NBA seasons. Oh, I'm sorry. 5 NBA franchises have won 51 championships out of 75 NBA seasons. The Celtics and the Lakers have won 35 between the two. There are 30 NBA franchises. And this is going back to my comments about people acting like it's time to leave New Orleans when the Pelicans have a setback. Okay? So it's not like, it's not like the Pels are on the struggle bus by themselves in the NBA land. Also, he mentioned, at least 17 NBA champions had one key player from Sportsman's Paradise. There we go. There we go. Yeah, this is true. The one who stands out to me immediately is Avery Johnson. And Avery Johnson, the cool thing about Avery Johnson is not only did he help deliver an NBA championship to San Antonio, their first one, I think. Was it their first? Not only did he help deliver an NBA championship to San Antonio, but he got Dallas into the finals for the first time in franchise history as a coach. Let's see. Oh, man. Wow. The NBA signed a new media deal of $77 billion over 10 years divided by 30 franchises. So, yeah, I mean, the NBA is so let me adjust what I said. I said the NBA is a diva league. Actually, fans of the NBA are divas a lot of times, and they start to go into the whole, it's like they seem to believe that the only markets that deserve teams are big markets. Not cool, man. Not cool. Hey, if you got anything on your mind, as a matter of fact, especially if you have a really interesting story about people's texting habits, 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. That is the number for you to call in. And, of course, you can use Facebook as well. You can come in, jump into the comments, and then you can also jump into the comments if you're on YouTube, because we're streaming there too. If you're on Twitch, you like the video game action. You're playing video games right now and listening to the radio at the same time, then you can drop some comments there as well. We will love it. We love it when company comes. By the way, good evening. Again, to Cliff, thank you so much, Cliff. D, thank you so much. Deborah Jones, thank you so much. I appreciate you checking in. And again, Amika, I appreciate you checking as well. Martin Curley, I appreciate you checking in as well. Karen Marks, thank you. Shannon Swift, thank you so much for checking in. And then also, Joan Milan, or is it Milan or Millen? Thank you for checking in on Facebook. Jacqueline Wilmore, appreciate you as well. Appreciate everyone hanging out this afternoon in the absence of Gerard Stevens. We got more conversation coming up. Essence Festival is saying that they want to kind of get things together a little bit. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. This is the Reality Check. I'm Eddie Francis in for the G-Man Gerard Stevens on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about.
Xavier University. Yeah. WBOK Go. And Equity Media Station.
I'm Bree Wood with EIN News Now. Democrat Senator Mark Kelly is defending a video urging troops to refuse illegal orders from President Trump.
We reiterated what basically is the rule of law, that members of the military cannot follow illegal orders.
On CBS's Face the Nation, Kelly says it's about accountability while Trump calls the move sedition at its highest level. Nurse at Franciscan Health Crown Point in Indiana have been fired after a black pregnant Chicago woman, Mercedes Wells, gave birth on the roadside following an early discharge. The hospital is adding cultural competency training and new exams for all patients leaving And Jelly Bean Johnson, best known as the drummer for Minneapolis funk band The Time, has died at 69. A collaborator with Prince, Janet Jackson, and in condition, Johnson passed away Friday in Robbinsdale, Minnesota. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
And welcome back to the Reality Check. I'm Eddie Francis in for Gerard Stevens. All right, I just heard that thing about Jelly Bean Johnson. Oh man, that one hits me. That one hits me. I was a huge fan of The Time. A huge fan. Like before, so I went to St. Aug before we got uniforms. And my first couple of years, I think we got uniforms when I was a junior. Yeah, I was a junior when we got uniforms. And I used to go to school in wingtip shoes because I was a big fan of The Time. I had my baggies and I had my wingtips. Oh man, Jelly Bean. Oh man, that sucks. Oh man. All right, so let's see. Oh, Joan, yes, I did get it right the first time. Milan. Okay, got it. All right, Joan. I'm glad I got that. So I do have this thing. I like to be able to pronounce people's names correctly. That is a big deal to me. When I was a recruiter, I actually made it. It was a priority for me to pronounce candidates' names correctly. So there was actually a place where I recruited, and we had a lot of Nigerian candidates, and we had a lot of candidates from India as well. And I would look at the name, even before I got on the phone with the candidate, I would look at the name, I would practice it to make sure that when they picked up the phone, they heard someone pronouncing their name correctly. Because that means a lot to people. That means a lot. And these are people who are about to go into job interviews and that sort of thing. And I wanted them to feel good. And I wanted them to feel that someone actually cared about who they are. And so it does mean a lot to me to make sure that I pronounce people's names correctly. I actually have a student who is from another country in a course I'm teaching right now. And I looked at the name, I looked the name up, I got the pronunciation for it, and I was like, okay, great. This is how the name is pronounced. And I did this video lecture, and I asked a student, did I get your name right? They emailed me and let me know. And so, yeah, I like to make sure I do that right. So yeah, gold star for me. Thank you so much, Joan. I appreciate you for confirming. Okay, Amika. So she says, what I do think is that Zion's time in New Orleans is over, and we are currently in a rebuild phase. Zion needs to be traded at the end of his current contract, and we should move forward with building around Queen and Fears. Just my opinion. I'm a season ticket holder, and I've seen everything this team has been through. So Amika, I'll say this. In watching the highlights and watching Derek Queen, just watching him alone, I would say I have to agree with you. I mean, yes, Queen and Fears, I think they're a dynamic duo that you do want to build around. Now the next thing is for them to get the right coach. That is the next thing. And I was really disappointed in the Willie Green thing because I really, really thought the brother would do better. I really thought he was. I'm really wondering where the wheels fell off with Willie Green and the team. That sucked. I actually met Willie Green at an event. And I talked to him for a few minutes. I mean, he is a really, really nice dude. Really nice dude. At least he presents that way. So there we go. Let me see. D-Best. Avery Johnson prepped with St. Aug, Jaron Jackson Jr. Oh, that's right. With Coin, yes. Gerard, yeah, I know not Stevens. Gerard King with 35. That's right. Yeah, that's right. San Antonio had 3 New Orleanians. They did. Yes. I actually I actually saw, excuse me, I was in 8th grade when I saw the undefeated St. Aug team play in state. The team that went 35-0. I was at that game. And it was so funny because when Avery Johnson popped up working his magic with Southern, and I remember sitting there going, wait, he was on the team? And so I remember thinking that because he didn't get that much playing time. That team had Donald Royal on it, Todd Milan, oh goodness, Rod Felice. I remember that team so well. And the other thing I remember was that there was this one game that team played with Avery Johnson's St. Aug team on the way to the state championship. There was a game that they played. All right, if you are of New Orleans, this is going to take you back. They played a game in the Chamber of Horrors at UNO against Brother Martin. And you talk about a game. It was a game. I mean, the energy in the Chamber of Horrors was unmatched. As a matter of fact, I went to go see some of the UNO games in the Chamber of Horrors, and I loved the Chamber of Horrors. I loved it. I mean, I love the barn at Xavier. I miss the barn. And I know Xavier moved on to bigger and better things and the Convocation Center is beautiful. I love the Convocation Center too. But the barn, man, the energy of the barn, the Xavier Dillard games, the Xavier Suno games, Loyola. I was at Loyola when our basketball team, when we got our athletics program back. And so the Xavier Loyola games in the barn were good. I mean, the barn games were the business. They were the business. Man. Get out of here, man. Oh, man. Joan. Oh, yeah. Joan on Facebook, Joan said Jelly Bean died on the 21st, 2 days after his 69th birthday. Oh, man. Yes. Yeah, I was a huge time. I mean, goodness. I knew the words of so many of the Time songs. And I was also that one when it came to Purple Rain and the final battle between the Revolution and the Time. I was that bugaboo who was walking around going, no, the Time won that battle because they did the bird and they did the chili sauce, the slide. So let it be known what my opinion on this is heretofore. My opinion in Purple Rain, the final battle, the Time won. Dang it. And I will die on that hill. Amika back in the chat on Facebook. She said Willie didn't hold the players accountable. Oh, well, yeah, that will get you fired. that'll make you lose some games. Because again, this goes back to my point about the NBA being a diva league. This goes back to my point. You cannot let NBA players be in a position where they control the team. You can't, because when that happens, people get fired because the team starts to lose. And players always think they know more than the coaches. That's one thing that I have picked up talking to a lot of folks. And this seems to be a bit of an NBA. I don't know if it's unique from any other league. I doubt it. But NBA players will submarine a coach's career in a second. They'll do that. They don't mind it. They don't mind either. Goodness gracious. Andrew Harris, right on. Wait, is that Drew? Drew or another Andrew? You gotta let me know, Drew. Andrew. So Essence Festival of Culture shares 2026 plans, asks for more support after a year of hiccups. This is in NOLA.com. And so the Essence Festival of Culture, as they negotiate with the city and the state ahead of the 2026 event, representatives this week pledged to remedy last summer's hiccups and enact changes that could require more city and state report. Last year's 4-day summit of Black music culture and wellness at the convention center generated $345 million, and that is per an estimate by Dillard University. All right, come through with the research, Dillard. But there were problems, right? And a lot of people talked about the problems last year. So one of the ideas that they have floated, they have vowed to reduce the number of nightly performers from 10 to 12 to 5 or 6, which I honestly believe that is, I have thought that maybe Essence has had too many performers. So they want to take it down from 10 to 12, take it down from that number, that range, to a range of 5 to 6 performers per night. Honestly, that'll save them some money too, because I mean that is an enormous expense to have that many performers. They floated the idea of hosting events in the city earlier during July 4th week instead of just the 4 days. They say they will soon announce a local host committee, and they're trying to think through it. And I will say this. If they are genuine in this, I appreciate the fact that Essence is talking through it and thinking through it and not saying, okay, New Orleans, you just get your life together and we'll go somewhere else. Because they could be that organization. And I think you do have to at least recognize that there's a negotiation going on. If you know anything about me, I'm all about negotiation. I'm all about looking for the win-win for everybody involved. And one of the things, if you know me, you know one thing that irks me is when people do not want to negotiate at all. Because when you refuse to negotiate, you really cut off your nose to spite your face a lot of times. You really do. So there were a lot of complaints we know with Essence. We know that there were all these complaints, but the fact that they're thinking through this and talking through this, and they're talking through this with the state of the city, I don't know if it's a good sign or not, but I do appreciate it, because I know sometimes when I see these things, I'm thinking, oh, that's a good sign. And somebody comes along and says, well, no, here's what they're really doing. I mean, okay, all right, well, I missed that. I didn't read between the lines. So as far as this is concerned, we'll see. We'll see what this leads to. And they, apparently what has happened is that they have come clean and they have openly addressed the shortfalls that they have had. So again, this is an article on NOLA.com about what Essence wants to do and how Essence wants to, what they want to do and how they want to move forward. Ed Reynaud on Facebook. Wow, your show started on time and your audio is crystal clear. Thank you so much. I'm not going to read the rest of that comment, but thank you, Ed. I really, really appreciate it. He says, I too remember the barn and the Loyola Fieldhouse and UNO in the good times. Yes, they were very good times. Loyola Fieldhouse, I did not get an opportunity to see, so that was before my time. However, I will say this. Here is a good piece of trivia about Loyola Fieldhouse and New Orleans history with basketball. Did you know that New Orleans has in fact seen a professional basketball championship appearance? We've never won one, but we have seen an appearance. And that would have been in the Loyola Fieldhouse where the New Orleans Buccaneers played. And the Buccaneers played in the ABA Finals. They lost. I can't remember who the Buccaneers lost to, but the Buccaneers lost the ABA Finals, but their home court was the Loyola Fieldhouse. How about that? All right. D-Best. Okay, more New Orleans history with the NBA. Derek D.C. Collins, NBA veteran, official referee. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he played at Brother Martin, and he played at Xavier. Yeah. Xavier has had, I don't know how many they've had, but Xavier has had a pro basketball, at least one, Slick Watts. Slick Watts played for the Jazz. I don't know if he played for anybody before the Jazz or after the Jazz. I don't know that history, but I do know that Slick Watts played for the Jazz, the New Orleans Jazz. Give us back our logo. He played for the New Orleans Jazz. Love the history there. There's something coming up, by the way, in the spring, and it has become my new favorite festival. Okay, you know, I have to stop saying stuff is my new favorite festival because not every festival is my new favorite festival. I just went to a festival and said it was my new favorite festival, and I don't remember what festival it was. That's how bad it is. I'm gonna have to ask my wife. She won't remember because I always tell her something is my new favorite festival, so she can't keep track either. Anyway, this is my new favorite festival. In the spring, the New Orleans Book Festival returns to Tulane March 12th through the 15th, and it's going to be on campus. And I'll tell you why it's my new favorite festival, because it is free and open to the public. That is why it is my new favorite festival. But the other reason that the New Orleans Book Festival is one of my new favorite festivals in New Orleans. But the other reason that it is one of my new favorite festivals in New Orleans is they have turned a book festival into a thing. Like, how many book festivals are a thing? And I know that there are probably some book festivals around the country that people love. I'm sure there are. But I have started reading more. I kid you not. I have started reading more since going to the New Orleans Book Festival. I kid you not. Because before that, I refused to read. I hated reading. I'm joking. But no, I do read more since the New Orleans Book Festival. And that's because that it is one thing when you pick up the book and you read it. It's another thing when you get to hear the author give their thoughts about what they wrote. And so last year, I had the opportunity to hear from Imani Perry, by the way, for example. And so hearing from Imani Perry and I know we see Eddie Glaude all the time on TV, but it's different when you get to see and hear Eddie Glaude in person, right? And get to hear what he's talking about. But the book festival, again, is going to be in the spring, March 12th through the 15th. It is free and open to the public. It is held at Tulane. And it is also a great opportunity to go check out some authors you've never heard of. As a matter of fact, the book festival is how I discovered Heather Cox Richardson, who gives great political commentary. Jeffrey Rosen was someone else, a constitutional lawyer who I learned about, and there were a lot of things I learned from listening to him. I love the fact last year, one thing that they did with the book festival that was great is they got Baldwin and Company involved. So they got DJ involved, which was really cool to see. I'm pretty sure he's going to be involved again. Well, let me not speak too soon, but I would like to think that he's going to be involved again in the spring for the upcoming book festival. But I did see that. I'm going to find this when we come back from the break. I'm going to see if I can find this information. But Tariana Tank Ball was one of the people listed to be making an appearance at the book festival in the spring. And so it'll be really cool to hear from her and some other people. Charles Blow is going to be there. Charles Blow is at the book festival every year. I think this man has been at the book festival every single year since it started. He can't leave the book festival alone. But it's always good to see the brother. Always good. Let's see. Thank you so much, Ed. Slick Watts. All right, so Ed to the rescue with this. Slick Watts played primarily for the Seattle Supersonics. He did. That's right. And Ed said he had a headband because of Slick Watts. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Golly, I'm trying to remember, when you think back to when you think back to the Jazz, I have a hard time picturing Pistol Pete with any team but the Jazz. I know he played for the Hawks, but who cares about the Hawks? Even the people in Atlanta don't care about the Hawks. So to me, Pistol Pete is only a member of the Jazz. That's it. That's it. That's it. All right. We're going to be back in just a little bit. This is the Reality Check. I'm Eddie Francis in for Gerard Stevens on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, brought to you by FidelityWealthManagement.com. Earn Your Leisure is a financial literacy platform that wants more people from more backgrounds to learn how to invest. They host events throughout the year, including their annual Invest Fest. Speaking to Bloomberg, Earn Your Leisure co-founder Rashad Bilal says one space he's trying to get more people interested in is investing in Africa.
The continent has immense resources. Obviously, everybody knows that. The youngest population. So I think that there's a lot of enthusiasm right now about Africa. There's a lot of success stories that's happening in Africa right now. So I think that that's something that our audience has been very enthusiastic about.
Earn Your Leisure co-founder Rashad Bilal. Bloomberg recently hosted the Africa Business Summit in Johannesburg to discuss some of the top issues and opportunities in the continent. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor, gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimum apply. Fidelity Broker Services LLC. NYSE SIPC.
On the golf team is Skechers World Champions Cup. Watch it live December 4th and 5th on ESPN and ESPN Plus, 12 to 4 p.m. It's PGA Champions Tour golfers from all over the world. Team USA versus Team Europe versus Team International. Watch it live December 4th and 5th on ESPN and ESPN Plus, 12 to 4 p.m. The competition will be tense, but feet will be coming. Tune in to Skechers World Champions Cup. Final round of golf on Sunday, December 7th on ABC, 1 to 5 p.m.
Missed a show? Want to hear that guest everyone's talking about? WBOK is now streaming on all your favorite podcast apps. Just search WBOK Media, hit download, share with a friend, and don't forget to rate your favorite shows 5 stars. Because when our voices are heard, our impact grows.
A message from the community scientists. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard Parish? You may be exposed to harmful chemicals like phthalates, BPA, and flame retardants found in everyday products but linked to serious health risks. That's why the Community Scientist, a program of Rise St. James, brings you clear, science-based facts that protect your health and our environment. Stay informed, stay empowered. Visit RiseSt.James.org today.
Are you passionate about community safety and police accountability? Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, we're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Get the facts and stay informed. We're breaking down complex issues, highlighting community voices, and holding people behind the badge accountable. Join us for an informative hour every Friday at noon on WBOK. Your city, your police, your show. The Monitor's Mic.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
And welcome back to the Reality Check. I'm Eddie Francis in for Gerard Stevens. Nyron is producing. Nyron, the tornado of Talladega College. What is? Oh man, I forgot it already. The Alpha Lyra Vega. of them all. Yeah. I hung out in Deega, man. Took a train to Anniston. Yeah. Yes.
God bless you.
Huh?
God bless you. That made me talk. You took a train to Addison?
It was, man, let me tell you something. I'm all about Amtrak.
Okay.
Okay, Amtrak. So if you like what you hear, then call WBOK to go ahead and place your advertising by. But anyway, but no, listen, dude, I took my first, I remember taking a train ride when I was a kid. And so I was trying to figure out how I was going to get from here to Talladega, and I'm looking at all these options. The flight options are absolutely horrible. Didn't want to drive. Right. And so I thought, okay, well, you know what, just for kicks and giggles, let me look at Amtrak. $36? Oh, yeah. I'll have a ticket, please.
Yeah.
And I went and got on there. And then I saw all the other options. I saw you could get a roomette for like $100-something bucks. And I was like, I was going to spend more than that on a plane ticket anyway. I'll have a roomette, please. I got to ride in style, man.
Okay,
it was so cool. The roomette was the coolest thing. And it was, 8 hours? I think it was an 8-hour ride, something like that. Relaxing. It was so relaxing. Like, I am all about train travel now.
Yeah. The roomette is what I get it now. Yeah.
You know, and you don't have to go through the security lines, which I don't know, maybe they should do something like that. But anyway, trains are relatively drama-free from what I've seen so far, for the most part. I mean, I've only been between here and Talladega, but I mean, the rides were problem-free. There was one thing that happened on one leg of my trip where somebody acted up. But man, let me tell you something. This dude acted up on a train. They stopped that train and let this cat off in the woods. Yes, he had to exit the train.
Yeah, that's why I made that, because I have friends, coming back to school have told me about crazy stories on that train. So that's why I was like, oh man.
Now,
more power to you.
The rides that I was on were drama free except for the one guy.
Okay.
But everybody else who I've spoken to so many people who said if they don't have to fly, they will not fly.
Mm-hmm.
They will take a train, especially if it's going to cost you under $100. You might have to sit next to somebody you don't necessarily want to sit next to. Which, the seats are roomy. Lots of leg room. You have outlets so that you can charge your phone. You just got to make sure the person you're sitting next to is cool and, they don't mind you, draping the cord over them to charge the phone. But 9 times out of 10, it's not a problem. And, hey, you know what? If that doesn't work out, just go hang out in the cafe car. Get yourself a drink, get you something to eat. Hang out in the cafe car. There were people who I didn't even realize they were sitting in their seats because they were hanging out in the cafe car the whole time. Wow. They were playing cards. Yeah. And the cafe car was like a party. Oh, people were having some fun in the cafe car. So, yeah, train travel is the business, man. I have been missing out all these years.
I'm about to say, I've never rode a train. I've only heard stories. That's why I haven't been eager to get on one.
It's cool, man. It's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool, man.
I got you.
You'll be all right. All right, D Best back with more NBA history as far as New Orleans is concerned. George Johnson of Dillard University played in the NBA. That's right, and Billy Ray Hobley of the Globetrotters, Blue Devils, BLEU. That's right, Bleh Devils. Also, George Johnson, though, although from Mississippi, won an NBA championship with black coach Al Atley in the 1975 Golden State Warriors. Thank you, man. That history is really, really appreciated. I have gotten much more into wanting to know more about basketball history in New Orleans because I feel like it's a hidden history and we just don't talk about it enough. Okay, let's talk about. I got to tell you who is going to be at the New Orleans Book Festival. So Stacey Abrams at the New Orleans Book Festival in 2026. John Bell Edwards. Mitch Landrieu. Oh, goodness. I'll come back about Mitch Landrieu. He's at the book festival every year. Who else? Duke Chase All right. All right. Number 4, he's going to be there. Our man, Clint Smith. Yep, our man Clint Smith is going to be there. So it's a pretty good lineup for the New Orleans Book Festival. So Mitch Landrieu. I don't know what it is with Mitch Landrieu in this book festival, but Mitch Landrieu always winds up on some kind of panel or something with Tim Francis and some other contemporaries from back in the day. And I don't know why it is that Mitch Landrieu insists on trying to, he's just diming out Tim Francis and stuff, their shenanigans from when they were kids. And it is hilarious to listen to because this dude, he will sit there at a panel discussion. He's supposed to be talking about, I don't know, he's supposed to be talking about politics, or he's supposed to be talking about policy, or he's supposed to be talking about economics. And Landrieu will break out into now, Tim and me, I used to go to the Francis house. I used to go see Dr. Francis. I used to see Mrs. Francis. You know, they hung out with my parents, and me and Tim, we used to walk from Broadmoor. We walked from Broadmoor to St. Charles Avenue, and we got ourselves a Roman candy and walked to Bourbon Street, and we went to Bourbon Street, and we talked to the lady swinging out of the window. We were 5 years old. Mitch is always he's always diming him out. I don't know if there's anything that Tim is trying to keep a secret. Tim, I don't know. But Mitch is going to dime you out every single time. Every single time. Yeah, New Orleans Book Festival, free and open to the public. And on a serious note about the New Orleans Book Festival, here's what I would advise. If you are Black and you decide to go to the New Orleans Book Festival, go check out authors who you probably would never have checked out in a million years. Because it is worth it to just find out what people are writing about. Like, I know we're going to want to go check out Stacey Abrams. We're going to want to check out Imani Perry. We're going to want to check out Charles Blow. We're going to want to check out all these folks. But if you see a book title or a topic and it looks interesting to you and you're like, well, I don't know who this is, go check them out anyway. Open your mind up as much as possible, because, again, this is how I found out about Heather Cox Richardson, who I follow on social media now. I love her political commentary. And Jeffrey Rosen, constitutional lawyer, and I follow some of his stuff as well. And so definitely take advantage of this event that's free and open to the public. Now, here's something that is really interesting, and I would love to know your thoughts about this. About what you see happen, about what you see coming. I would love to know what's in your crystal ball. 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. But the Republican fallout, is it real? Is the Republican fallout real? From Yahoo News, House Republican warns more explosive resignations coming after MTG. Marjorie Taylor Greene. She has resigned abruptly. And she is now all over the anti-MAGA train. And she is, telling it all, right? At least as much as she's going to tell. Punchbowl News reports that even more Republican representatives are considering resigning in the middle of their term due to what they see as the, quote, you're going to love this, arrogance of this White House, end quote. Well, how did they find out that there was arrogance in the White House? However, did they find this out? What was the clue? What gave it away? I need to know these things. So just so we are clear, I'm going to read that last sentence again, because I need you to realize that you are not imagining things. Yahoo News is my source here. And the last sentence of this article that I just read, Punchbowl News reports that even more Republican representatives are considering resigning in the middle of their term due to what they see as the, quote, arrogance of this White House, end quote. Again, I have got to know what gave it away. An anonymous senior House Republican told Jake Sherman, let's see, and who exactly is Jake Sherman in this? Let's see. Oh, okay, Jake Sherman must be the reporter. An anonymous senior Republican said, quote, this entire White House team has treated all members like garbage. All. And Mike Johnson has let it happen because he wanted it to happen. That is the sentiment of nearly all appropriators, authorizers, hawks, doves, rank, and file. The arrogance of this White House team is off-putting to members who are run roughshod and threatened. They don't even allow little wins like announcing small grants or even responding from agencies. Not even a high profile. The regular rank and file random members are more upset than ever. Members know they're going into the minority after their midterms, end quote. Hold on. Something is caught in my throat because the air just got really thick in the studio all of a sudden. I mean, are you serious, man? So my question is this. All these people who are all of a sudden citing the quote-unquote arrogance of the White House, when did they decide that the arrogance of the White House would not work for them? Because it's not like the White House's arrogance has been, it has been a secret. It hasn't happened behind closed doors. I mean, if you ask anybody, if you ask any psychologist, if you ask any scholar, when it comes to personality profiles and mental conditions, the term that is often used by people who know what they're talking about for the leader is malignant narcissist. I mean, y'all, I'm doing the Tasmanian devil right now. Why for? So at what point did all of these folks realize, air quotes, if you're watching the video here, at what point did these folks realize that they were dealing with an arrogant White House? Is it me? So here's what I'm curious about from you. Do you think this is real? Or is this political theater? 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. Because, as people have looked at Marjorie Taylor Greene, a lot of folks have said, don't trust anything she's doing or saying. Folks are saying that what she's doing right now is political theater. She doesn't really mean to dime anybody out. She's not really anti-MAGA, or she's not really leaving MAGA. And people right now, remarkably, one of the people who I follow on social media is Pete Scaramucci, who was the press secretary during Trump's first term. And, he's somebody I never really quite thought about, but I've seen some of his videos and I have heard some of his commentary about not just politics, but about the economy. And I find his takes to be interesting. I can't say that I'm ideologically aligned with him, but I do find his takes interesting. One of the takes that he has specifically about Marjorie Taylor Greene is, listen, if this is the way she's going right now, and you are on the other side, if you're a liberal or a progressive, you got to take advantage of the moment. So pull her on your side right now so that you can have a tactical advantage. Now, I personally agree with that because my thought is this: enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? If you are trying to manage the White House right now, a lot of us, we are disappointed with what we're seeing, and that includes people who voted for the current president. A lot of people are very disappointed. I know I'm putting that very mildly, but I am of the opinion that you got to see what you can get out of her. Now there are people who are like, no, don't trust her, don't talk to her at all. But I'm not so sure that's such a great idea. I'm not so sure at all. You don't have to be friends. You don't have to go to the club. You don't have to go to church with her. But find out what's going on. See what you can get. If you want to defeat the other side and your opponent has somebody defecting, go see what that's about. Again, 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. All right. Lines are lit up right now. We got Piper on the line. Piper, what you got?
Hey, brother. How's it going tonight?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Great. I think if I'm Democrats, I'd be cautious trying to align or even solicit anything from Marjorie Taylor Greene, because ideally, with the exception of the Epstein files, she's still supporting Trump's agenda. Her big thing is that now the one thing, and I think a lot of them are those resignations are because they see how quickly Trump can turn on them. So they're stuck between their constituents that have a problem with a lot of things he's doing and taking him on. So it's like I'll get out of the race. My constituents are pissed with me. If I take a stand in line with my constituents, then I have to deal with Trump and his fury and his supporters. But I think if any of them have a little courage, ride out listen to your constituents, because those are the guys who don't vote for you, no matter what he says. And so some may lose out, but I think most will. They ride it out with their constituents, they'll be okay. But at the end of the day, I still think most of them are aligned with his agenda. Some may have problems with the immigration, others may have problems with Epstein, but I'd say 80% of these guys will stick with the majority of his agenda, and that's the part where aligning with those guys or outside of using them for the one thing that they have a problem with, I wouldn't do it.
So, do you think this is political theater?
I don't know. For her, I don't know where she can go with this, because she's not. I don't think, unless she's trying to, grab those some of those center right Republicans out of Georgia, if she wants some statewide office. If she's trying to grab the center right. So I don't know. That's the if she wants to do anything in politics, or maybe it's another book deal for her. You talk about the book fest, maybe it's a book deal for her. But unless she's trying to get the center right independence, there's really nothing for her.
I hear you. Well, thanks a lot, Piper. I appreciate you.
All right, brother.
You
Have
got
a good
it.
night.
We got Pop Jones on the line. Pop Jones, how you doing, man?
Oh, how you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing good.
Yes, is that real?
What do you think?
Saturday Night Live real?
You think we got a bunch of theater going on right now?
Oh man, look, hire all the generals back that you fired. All these people that were taking their jobs away from them, hire them back, give them back pay. All that money that you're giving to these dictator countries, that would be a start, Eddie. And I don't know whether I will completely believe it then.
Yeah.
So that one thing, that's nothing.
Yeah. It almost comes across as It honestly, I will say this: it does come across as people just trying to save their skins right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's all they're doing. I will say that, and that's why what I'm saying is you don't have to be anybody's friend. You don't have to be anybody's friend, but at least get an idea of what was really good. That's the thing that I find interesting.
Well, Eddie, first of all, why would you all of a sudden want to be friends with the young man that became mayor of New York? You think that's real?
Mm-hmm. No, not really.
No.
Not really.
Oh man. I mean,
yeah. There are people trying to move some chess pieces. But Pop, I gotta go right now. Thank you so much for calling and hanging out with me, man.
All right, thanks for taking my call, Eddie.
You got it. You be good, brother. All right, we're going to be back with the reality check. Last segment coming in. I'm Eddie Francis in for Gerard Stevens on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about.
AURN News.
A political firestorm in Washington after President Trump launched an extraordinary attack on 6 Democratic lawmakers, all military veterans, who released a video urging service members to uphold their oath. On social media, Trump declared it's called seditious behavior at the highest level. Each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. An example must be set. Their seditious behavior is punishable by death. The lawmakers, including Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander, and Representative Elisa Slotkin, responded defiantly in their video. Senator Kelly says, "Our oath was and always will be to the Constitution, not to any individual, not even the president." He continues, "Our laws are clear. You can and must refuse illegal orders." Congresswoman Goodlander added, "No amount of intimidation or threats will silence us. We will not back down from defending democracy." For AURN News, I'm Ebony McMorris.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fits-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
Hey, Pontchartrain Park. Thanks for listening to WBOK.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
And welcome back to the reality check. I'm Eddie Francis in for the G-Man, Gerard Stevens, and I'll be hanging out with you again tomorrow. I cannot wait. Can't wait to come hang out with you. It'll be fun. It'll be cool. We can schmooze, have a cappuccino. Yeah, so if this is really interesting. If you have any thoughts about what's happening with the GOP and these folks who seem to be disappointed, disillusioned, dismayed by the White House, who seem to have all of a sudden, they seem to have discovered that there's an air of arrogance at the White House. I mean, I guess the arrogance is fine as long as it, doesn't touch them. If it doesn't bother me, I'm not going to worry about it. But now all of a sudden, these, this is really interesting. So there was an exit manifesto that Marjorie Taylor Greene wrote, and she wrote this on Friday. And let me read this thing to you. Almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass a plan to save American health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. Oh, it sounds like somebody realizes she has a constituency. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster, but instead, America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle. Now, that's pretty predictable. Of course, you know the whole both sides of the aisle rhetoric had to come out. And I will say this. I do believe that Democrats should be held responsible as well, because maybe with that whole thing, they didn't play the game as well as they could have played it. I'll put it to you that way. All right, going on with Marjorie Taylor Greene's manifesto. My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, just sit collecting dust. Oh, now we're getting somewhere. Many common Americans are no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda spokespersons and consultants on TV and paid shills on social media. They know how much credit card debt they have. They know how much their own bills have gone up over the past 5 years. They actually do their own grocery shopping and know food costs too much. Their rent has increasingly gone up. They have been outbid by corporate asset managers too many times when they put in an offer to buy a house. They have been laid off after being forced to train their visa holding replacement, and the college degree they were told to earn only left them in debt with no big six-figure salary. They see more homeless people than ever on their own community streets. They can't afford health insurance or practically any insurance, and they just aren't stupid. So this, again, is part of the manifesto that Marjorie Taylor Greene did as she, has looked at this decision of resigning her seat. And now there's this talk that there are cracks in the GOP's foundation, as this article on Yahoo News puts it. And these folks are saying that they are tired of being treated like garbage. And so I just find this to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. And I do have to wonder, what is the end game for these folks? I just have to wonder what the end game is there. What do they hope to accomplish by doing this? And this honestly sounds to me like I'm saving my skin. I would say several months ago. Actually, almost a year ago, when I started doing the Way Forward. Again, the show that I do every Saturday, 3 p.m. here on WBOK at 12:30. One of the folks who I had the privilege of interviewing was Dr. Eugene Lee Johnson, who is a political science professor from Southern. And there was a really interesting part of the interview when he asked me, whenever a politician gets elected, what is the first thing that they do? And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, well, they're figuring out who they can negotiate with. They're figuring out which politicians on the opposite side of the aisle they're going to negotiate with, which, probably would shock their constituents. And he said, no, the first thing they do is they start preparing for re-election. And so with these folks, is it that they have said to themselves, my future is bleak as a politician, at least as a congressperson? Is that the real game that we're looking at? And I think this is one of those times that we should take advantage of the opportunity to start our voter education efforts to get ready for the midterms, to get ready for 2026. Because this is a very serious game, and these are going to be some extraordinarily important midterm elections coming up. And with all of these folks who have decided that they are disenchanted with what's happening in the White House, if you sit on the other side of this issue, if you sit on the other side of the Republicans, if you're a Democrat or if you're a liberal or if you're a progressive, then you've got to take this opportunity and you've got to strike while the iron is hot. Excuse me. And so you have got to find those candidates who you're going to put forth. You got to get aggressive. You got to get them out there. You got to get them ready. You got to get them going. And even if this is political theater, even if these folks don't mean what they say, you still, I think, have to get things going. You got to put something in motion. You know, Joshua Edmond, what's up, man? Joshua said, now she cares. And I think that's, and yes, I think that's a message. If you are a Democrat and you are trying to get some balance going in Congress and you are trying to slow down the activity in the White House, which really has, in my opinion, hurt so much of the country. And I think that's what a lot of these Republican Congress people are seeing. Their constituents have actually told them, we're sick of you. I think that is really what's happening. And I think the constituents have, you know, I'll put it to you this way. I was asked by someone once, just in a general discussion, when the new presidency started, I was having a conversation with someone, and we talked about our concerns with the way government was going. And we said, hey, listen, you know, this is going to get worse before it gets better. Some bad decisions are going to be made, and some unethical decisions are going to be made, and some unethical things are going to happen. And he asked me, Eddie, what do you think? What do you think has to happen? And I said, to be honest with you, I think that some people who voted for the current president have to hurt real bad, real bad. They got to lose jobs. They got to lose houses. They got to lose all kinds of stuff. And it's going to happen. And we've seen it happen. And they never thought it would happen to them. So here we are. Here we are at this really interesting political inflection point. And now I have got to wonder if the Democrats are up to the task. Maybe we should come back and talk about this tomorrow. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. In the meantime, I really appreciate you hanging out with me this evening. Thank you for showing me love. All the folks on Facebook and folks who have decided to tune in via YouTube and Twitch, I appreciate you as well. And especially those of you listening on 1230 a.m. here in New Orleans, WBOK1230.com, and also the Play Ode app. I appreciate you as well. And I'll see you again tomorrow. For Gerard Stevens, I am Eddie Francis, and this is The Reality Check on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about.